And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of MLB DFS Quick Hits, your Monday, August 22nd edition. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Lots of fun stuff going around with NFL preseason. You got the FedEx playoffs going strong and much, much more. So hope you guys had a good time with that. Had some fun playing some baseball action. We're back with you guys Monday, 8-game slate. If you have any questions, I'm on Twitter at BDintric, or join us in the free Fantasy DJs Discord, where there's always helpful advice getting thrown around there from time to time and most of the day. So come check that out. If you have the podcast, rate and review on iTunes or Spotify, that'd be great. If you're watching on YouTube, give the old thumbs up and leave a comment. That is awesome as well. If you like season-long fantasy baseball content, go check out Benched with Bubba. Last Thursday night's episode was a blast, recapping the first 2023, I did not misspeak, 2023 NFBC draft champions draft. We did the first 7 rounds live on Zoom, and then Ryan and that was on Wednesday, and Ryan and I reviewed our draft so far on Thursday's episode. So go check that out as well. But lots of fun stuff there. But let's get cracking. 8 games on your Monday to get you going for the week. Mets, Yankees, 7. Potential in there. Reds, Phillies, 8.5. Braves, Pirates, 8.5. Rangers, Twins, 8.5. Angels, Rays, 7. No total in Wrigley because Wrigley. Marlins, A's, 7. Brew Crew, Doyers, 8. So some fun stuff there. Let's get to the pitching. Max Scherzer leads the way at 11-3 at the New York Yankees. That is quite a hefty price tag against the Yankees. Max is awesome. Might actually come in low owned because of this. Like, I have a hard time playing 11-3 when we've got a couple other pitchers to talk about here against the Bronx Bombers. But I will say they are striking out 25% of the time versus righties over the past 30 days, hitting only 219 with a 93 WRC plus. Mad Max is a beast. But he's getting to the point now at 11-3. It's like you need high 20s into the 30s almost at this point in time. Not that he can't do it. He probably will, because now I'm saying he won't. But I'd rather diversify my funds elsewhere. But as we'll find out in the Discord during the day, if somehow that ownership's coming in pretty low, you can entice me. You can entice me. So we'll see how that one goes. But right now, I'd rather save $1,300. Give me Julio Urias at 10K flat at home against the Milwaukee Brewers. Urias has put up 20-plus points in 6 straight starts and 7 of his last 8. He has been a beast. Strikeouts, getting you innings. And most importantly in this matchup, it's been discussed often lately, you got the Brew Crew, who are striking out almost 30% of the time versus left-handed pitching this past month, hitting 198 with the 115 ISO and a 74 WRC+. You're going to hear these stats a lot this week because the Brewers face 5 lefties in their 6 games. Now, Urias is an elite lefty. This is a phenomenal spot to pay for Julio Urias at 10K. That's why it's hard for me to go pay 11-3 for Scherzer when I can have Urias for $1,300 cheaper in a better matchup at home, and I'm just going to go that route. Eric Lauer and Turnus, if you want to get feisty, interesting, but it's hard to attack the Dodgers when there's other options. What I am intrigued by is Sonny Gray at $8,500 at home against the Texas Rangers. Sonny looked phenomenal against Kansas City his last time out, scuffled against the Dodgers, give you a pass. But then prior to that, 17-7, 19-7, 27-1. So basically 18 or more points in 4 of his last 5, almost 20 or more in 3 of his last 5. Is Sonny Gray starting to show us some life? Is he? And now you get the Texas Rangers, and they're playing in Minnesota, but Texas, near 24% K rate over the last month, 247 average, 128 ISO, 101 WRC plus. Sonny checks the boxes as an option. I will be 100% honest. He is very intriguing on this slate. Jordan Montgomery at $8,300. I'm always a Joe Mo fan. His last 2 starts for the Cardinals have been outstanding. 8 Ks in each start, so they must be doing Cardinal devil magic by mixing with the pitch mix, which is what they're good at. And he gets to face a Cubs team who strikes out 25.5% of the time versus left-handed pitching. Just watch the weather there. If it's favorable, Joe Mo becomes a great option in Wrigley Field. A few other options here. Like, I want to go Pablo at the A's just because it's the A's. Pablo's been bad lately. Been really bad. Might be a spot to potentially attack Pablo against Oakland. Like, it's been rough. Oakland is, not great by any means, but the last 4 starts for Pablo have not been exceptional by any means. Actually, last 4 starts. It's been brutal. There's been 2 negative starts in those 4. It's not been good. So Oakland could be one of those kind of value spots tonight. But you got Jeffrey Springs at 7,700 at home against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. 19 or more points in 3 straight starts. He's finding it. It's still only 5 innings, though. That's my concern every time. He went 78, 85, 85 pitches. So it's like he's got to be efficient. He's got you 4 or more Ks. He's been efficient enough, especially at 7,700. Gets to face the Angels, a team that strikes out 23% of the time versus lefties, 207 average, 75 WRC plus. They've lowered the K rate tremendously versus lefties since about a month or so ago, but still they're not hitting them great by any means. It's just you got to hope Jeffrey goes deep enough. That's why he's tough for, he's almost more cash viable, as weird as that sounds, because he brings a really good floor, but he's rarely ever going to get you like a 30-point ceiling because he's just not going to go deep enough unless he's like the most efficient of efficient pitchers on the face of the planet. So that's the kind of tough part with Jeffrey. Great matchup, great pitcher. Let him throw 100 pitches and we are rocking. Like, he's worth almost 9K. So it's a good spot. Small slate. I get it. I always have to at least remind you, like, there's some potential landmine in that situation. I know a lot of people are going to say Jake Odorizzi at Pittsburgh. I'll say Pittsburgh versus Jake Odorizzi just because that's what I do. Because Odorizzi literally outside, like, hits bad. And it's the Pirates. I get it. Anything can happen. I think he's going to be popular. It's like a lot of people say $7,200 versus the Pirates. Let's play Jake Odorizzi. And you know what? If a chalky Jake Odorizzi beats me, so be it. But I am not going to jump on that train at this point in time. There's really not a lot of value I like on this slate outside of Springs at 77. Smiley's been good, but it's St. Louis. But it depends on the weather and Wrigley. Keep an eye on that. But I want Urias. You can pay for Scherzer if you want. I want Urias. I want Gray. I want Montgomery and Springs. That's where I'm at right now. Maybe we get a favorable line because, like, Tucker Davidson's on the bump for the Angels going up against the Rays, and the Rays strike out 26% of the time versus lefties with an 86 WRC plus and a 109 ISO. So maybe Tucker Davidson treks in there at 6,600 as a potential dude we can use. He pitched really well in his last start, 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 Ks. He has 3 Ks. Sorry, not a efficient strikeout guy, but get me 16.5 for 6,600. So I guess if you have to punt at this point in time, Tucker Davidson's probably your dude. That's probably what you're looking at on this one. All right, let's check out the bats on this 8-game Monday slate. Catcher's position for you here. We got JTR versus Luis Sessa. It's going to be a bullpen game, most likely, for Cincinnati. So the Phillies are going to be a nice spot. Bullpen games are tricky, though, because you can kind of play matchups at the same time. It's the Reds. So JTR 56 is just fine. But if you want to save some cash, Sean Murphy's been crushing. He's $4,500 versus Pablo Lopez. That's interesting. Nick Fortes is $3,800 and a good matchup versus Aller. Wish it was in a different stadium, but still not a bad look. If you are fading Sonny Gray, Jonah Heim at 36 is swinging a red-hot bat. Red-hot, so he can be a fun little bit of a value there. Our boy Gary Sanchez, our tournament boy Gary Sanchez, is $3,100 for the lefty Reagans. That's what we want to target with guys like Gary Sanchez, a bad left-handed pitcher. So Gary Sanchez at $3,100 is in play for you as a potential punt on this one. And then other than that, maybe see if, like, Kisner checks the lineup for St. Louis or something. But right now, Sanchez is as low as I go, but you'll get value at catcher. You always do. First base position for you now. You got Goldie versus Drew Smiley. Watch the weather, but Goldie versus any lefty's good. Smiley's been good of late, though. I will put that caveat out there, but Goldie at $6,200 is quite enticing. Don't mind Big Meat Pete at $5,400. Domingo Germán is a home run give up machine, so Big Meat Pete is also in play at $5,400. Rhys Hoskins at 47. Like I said, I don't mind targeting Sessa and the Cincinnati bullpen. Matt Olson's been heating up. He's $4,600 versus Ronzi Contreras. I'd probably rather go Hoskins, honestly, but Matt Olson's been crushing it. But if you wanted to save, he's still too cheap. He's like $3,700 all last week, but this week he's up to $39 on Monday. First base, third base, Jose Miranda versus the lefty Reagans. That's in play for you. For tournaments, Daniel Vogelbach at 38. If we are believing that Germán is the home run give-up machine that he is, that's an intriguing spot there versus Vogelbeast at 38 hundo. Cheaper options for you. Derek Hall at 3K is a very good value from Philadelphia against Cincinnati in that bullpen. The left-handed slugger, he was red hot a week or so ago, kind of struggled this past week. Get him at 3K and a great matchup versus Sessa in the bullpen. That's a good value in the Philadelphia setup for you. And other than that, Albert Pujols is on a home run hitting mission right now. It's tough to play him, but he's 2K versus Drew Smiley. I'm just going to throw that out there. And he usually is in the middle of that order. Like, he had a double dong the other night. He had a grand slam the other day. He's 2K. Like, that's how you pay off 2K values in a big way. Second base position for you here. You got John Birdie at 48. If you're stacking Miami, sure. Otherwise, it's tough to pay that for a one-off. Going down cheaper, though, Gene Segura at 42. We keep going back to Philadelphia because they're priced nicely. Gleyber Torres, but Jorge Polanco at 4K. I'm on board with that versus the lefty Reagans. Kevin Newman at 32 has been leading off for Pittsburgh, second base shortstop, hitting very well for Kevin Newman standards. Let me clarify that real quick. And so I don't mind him at that price point at $3,200 against Jake Odorizzi. That's somewhere you can look to target. But Vaughn Grissom at 21 is still far too cheap for the Atlanta Braves versus Ronzi Contreras. That is one of the better values. We're only at second base, but that's one of the better values you're going to see right now. Vaughn Grissom at $2,100 versus Ronzi Contreras is super nice. Mentioned Sheldon Noisy. He's 2K, got called up, and he'll face Pablo Lopez. He went deep the other day. Noisy's not a big batting average guy, but he's got some serious pop. So kind of like a Joey Gallo light at second base is how I would look at him. So just beware. But when you got Grissom at $2,100, you're Gucci. Third base, Arenado versus lefty, always nice. But Austin Riley at 51 is a good spot there versus Ronzi Contreras in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Alec Bohm at 41, he's cooled down quite a bit, but I don't mind him in your Philly stacks. Jose Miranda's only 3,900. That's way too cheap, as I mentioned before. So you can go back to Miranda. And then other than that, Brett Beatty's only $2,400 for Domingo Germán. That's a really good value as well for the big prospect for the Mets, who's got one dong already. So you can go his direction and have some fun with that. Shortstop position here, you got Trey Turner, who's in play no matter what, at $6,100. At Lindor at 57. If you're stacking the Mets, it's a good pay up spot. Carlos Correa versus lefties always in play at 5K. Got Dansby Swanson at 49. I prefer probably Correa in that one, but both are worth a look for sure. If you're going full on Pittsburgh stack, Odino Cruz, he's all or nothing, but at $4,100, he could be all versus Rizzi. I also like Bryson Stott at $3,900 for Sessa, as Stott has been swinging it pretty well also. So keep that in mind. A few others for you as you slide on down the 2K range. No value that stands out right now. Paul DeJong, he's been hitting better. He's 38. I mentioned Kevin Newman at second base. He's second base shortstop as well. Outfield, Mookie Betts at 65 is always worth a pay-up spot. Buxton at 59 is a good tournament play because I think he kind of gets overlooked up here with Betts and Judge and Trout's back if you missed that on Friday night. So some fun stuff there. But Shorebombs at $5,800 for Sessa. Tournament viable indeed. Starling Marte is really swinging it well over the last month. He's 5K versus Germán. Tyler O'Neill at 48. If you're stacking St. Louis versus Smiley, I could see that as an option. Going down cheaper, though, you got the likes of Nick Castellanos at 44. It's not been a great Casty year, but you know what happens there. If you are fading Julio Urias, Hunter Renfroe at $4,400 does hit lefties very well. And so does Aaron McCutcheon at 4K. So there's a couple reasonably priced Brew Crew bats if you're feeling frisky versus Julio Urias. I absolutely, once again, love the price tag on Brian Reynolds at only $4,300 against Odorizzi. Like on a Reynolds, just a one-off is fine. Reynolds, Newman, Cruz, whatever. I like Reynolds at $4,300 for Jake Odorizzi. Sign me up. And usually Odorizzi's a reverse splits guy in his career. I'm not just pinpointing lefties. I'm just saying Reynolds is a beast, and he's in beast mode at $4,300. Michael Harris II, if you're stacking Atlanta at 42, is a great piece of the stack because most don't go to the bottom of the order, but do it with him. He is that good. You can put him with Vaughn Grissom and get some nice action. If you want some interesting tournament play, Manny Montgomery turned a couple games ago. He's 3,700. Davidson hasn't really got it going yet, but it's a good spot there versus Davidson. Tyler Naquin at 37 is a good value against Germán. Hopefully you can find the short porch there in right field. That's one to look at. The Franmil's still too cheap. I love Jomo. Love Jordan Montgomery. But Franmil Reyes at $3,200 is still far too cheap. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So thank you, Mr. DraftKings, on that one. Seth Brown, again, if you are fading Pablo Lopez, Seth Brown first base outfield eligible at $3K. I like that at all times. Tony Kemp's at 28. Those are a couple of the cheap Oakland bats I mentioned before. You have Langoliers catching around 2K. You got some cheapies in Oakland if you need to get frisky and pay up a pitching and get an expensive stack. It's not the best ballpark, and it's Lopez, but he's been so bad. It's a very intriguing stacking option as we break things down. Pittsburgh, if you want to get into it, Ben Gamble's only 2,600. It's fourth or fifth in that order, so that's not bad. Lars Nootbaar should still start. Usually it's ninth against lefties, leads off against righties, but he's been a beast. He's an OBP machine, so keep him in mind at 2,500. Other than that, I got Tyrone Taylor down here. He's cooled down a bit, but he is an option if you really need to go crazy with Milwaukee. I'm not, but you can. Other than that, check your lineups. There'll be more that should. Nick Senzel, man, what could have been? What could have been Nick Senzel? He's 2K, and he's worth 2K. Robbie Grossman, since he's come over to the Braves, actually has been very good. Couple home runs even. He's only 2K versus Ronzi Contreras. So that's another one you can look at. JJ Bleday is only 2K versus Oler. Oler's not good. JJ Bleday's got a ton of pop. And even Jesus Sanchez is down here. Man, how he's fallen off quickly. That is an entry. 2K guys there. Again, not the best ballpark, but extreme power value. Nick Gordon is only 2K. Might get the start versus the lefty. We prefer him versus righties, but it's all good. Bubba Thompson's down here at 2K versus Sonny Gray. He gets on and runs wild. So there is a ton of 2K value. Not elite guys, not double dong guys, but tons of value. Vaughn Grissom's still the best value at $2,100. That is crazy, crazy sauce. Let's recap the pitching. You got Scherzer 11-3. He's fine, but I will save a few dollars. Give me Julio Urias at 10,000. Give me Sonny Gray at 85. Give me Jomo at 83. Jeffrey Springs at 77. And if you really, really, really need to punt, Tucker Davidson at 66 is where I'd be looking at this point in time. Now for stacking, give me Philadelphia versus Cincinnati bullpen game. Love Atlanta. Watch the weather. Could be raining in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can be sneaky too with some, especially with Brian Reynolds and build around that. Gamble's cheap. You have O'Neill Cruz, Newman, and other options. Watch the weather there. Watch the weather in Philly. Watch the weather in New York. We got some weather to watch tonight. Lovely, 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 lovely. Don't mind some Mets though versus Domingo Herman. That could be fun as well. Minnesota versus the lefty Reagans and Miranda's still far too cheap. I'll be getting back on board there, and a couple of Gary Sanchez for tournaments. There's some appeal in that Minnesota lineup. You could look at St. Louis versus Smiley. I respect them, but you could look there. Miami versus Oakland and Oakland versus Miami is an intriguing option. Two bad teams and a bad ballpark to target for offense. So just beware ahead of time. But it's also like when you get two bad teams like that, you literally could have the whole ship blow up. So it could be interesting one way or the other. And that's what's tournament value. That's why it's tournament viable, folks. So have some fun with that. But we'll find out more when lineups come out. If you have any questions, I'm on Twitter at BDintric. Join us in the free Fantasy Degens Discord. If you have any questions, give the podcast an old rate and review on iTunes or Spotify. That'd be great as well. And if you are watching it on the YouTube, give it the old thumbs up, leave a comment. That would help too. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow night to get you ready for your Tuesday action. But for now, MLB DFS Quick Hits, your Monday, August 22nd edition in the books. I'm out.